y'all, this is Driver. We are back on Car Mechanic Simulator 21, and this is going to be story order number 2. I had it pop up in the menu, our order menu, when was doing the basic orders to get to it, so didn't accept it yet. So this is how it would show up. We didn't get to see that in the video on round 1, I don't think. So anyhow, I'm not going to read through the actual story part of this section right here. I'm not going to read that. If you want, you're more than welcome to pause and take a quick look, but we're just going to go ahead and take this order and see what we got to do to this thing. The car is here. It's, looks like a little Mini Cooper. So, first start is to go ahead and flip this thing over. Not too concerned about this, and I'm not worried about this. We are worried about this stuff here. So remember, we are in easy mode, so it's going to show us everything we need to fix on this thing. So we've got this whole list of stuff to do, and I'm not going to read it off, and that rest of that list. We got to do an oil change and change some fluids and refill one. So the easiest thing to do is just go ahead and get this thing over at the lifter. Okay, so now that we got it here at the lifter, let's go ahead and start with this hood open. I want to look at what all we got to do to this thing. So, depending upon how in depth we need to go, will determine what we're going to start with here. So I think we will go ahead and probably throw it up in the air, go ahead and get the oil drain, get a filter on it. Because it doesn't look like we got a serpentine belt, a couple of spark plugs, a coil. Roller's going to be on the outside of the motor. The cam gear, though, we'll have to do that before we put oil in it. So might as well go ahead and just get it drained and get it ready to go for that part. So let's go ahead and do that. And since the last video, I still have not done anything. This is still our shop. We still don't have the storage yet over there. All that basic stuff, so. Here, they wanted a little filter. I think they did, didn't they? Yeah, they do. So they want 81%, and that's 65. So that is what it is. So let's go ahead and get us another one of these. I'm going to leave it in this mode for the arrival until we get our warehouse, and then we'll be able to start doing that. I know there's brake work that needs to be done while we're down here, but we're going to save that for a little bit later. Go ahead and get this engine stuff done first. So we definitely know it needs a cam gear and a camshaft replacement. So we're going to go ahead and start tearing the top end apart, which is going to be part of the front end of the motor as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with that stuff. It's also going to need a couple spark plugs and I think an ignition coil. There's that one ugly looking cam. So let's go ahead and start getting that stuff off. Cover as well. Actually, both covers. The rear cover there too. While we're at it, let's see if we can figure out that spark plug. That one. No point in pulling all 4 of them. sometimes hovering onto some of these parts can be a little tricky. The biggest one I have a hard time with sometimes is the those chains and sometimes belts. Ooh, is that crusty looking? Oh, tensioner first. Then the belt. Okay, as far as I know, that was all the engines. That was the belt tensioner. We found that. We're not worried about brake stuff. We got the gear, the cam. We did find the idler roller. It's one of those ignition coils. We'll figure out later where that's going to go. And then the serpentine belt. So, yeah, pretty much everything in orange here is pretty much got to be replaced. That's for sure. Grab a couple spark plugs. I think this roller was fine. And we are going to need one ignition coil. So let's go ahead and go into our shop here and we'll start picking up our parts. Yep, spark plugs aren't in here, and neither is ignition coils, so got to go over to the electronic side to get those. Make sure this is all cleared out. Now we just got to put it all back together, guys. And sometimes to help you out when you got multiple of these, just in case you're wondering which one goes where, as far as new parts, sometimes highlighting these will help you out a little bit. I already know kind of where those go. And I know where that spark plug goes. What was there's the ignition coil. It'll be a little bit of a pain because you'll see the little halo here, ghost image. At least tells you where the new part goes. Let's see here. Yes. Cam back in. While we're here, let's go ahead and get the spark plugs. A little easier to see right at the moment. There we go. Ignition coil here, that new one in there. Something we can click on, get rid of the front a little better. Kind of look around real quick, make sure we're not missing something here. So now we should be able to see that that was replaced. Cam gear, we can go ahead and unmark those two because they're all done well, and those are done. We have some rubber bushings underneath and some brake pads. So while we're up here, we're going to go ahead and just finish up the underhood stuff. Go ahead and get the oil in it. That's full of oil. Where's the dipstick? There it is. I don't know why I always like doing this. Be cool. Alright, and there's some other stuff that I wanted. See, change the brake fluid, coolant, and power steering. Brake down there. Let's get our drain tool out. Refill all that back up. I cannot see it. Yep, we're at the full mark, okay. Kind of a pain when you can't see them like that. There we go. Go ahead and top this back up. And your power steering. Okay, so that takes care of our other task. Now we gotta do some brake work and some rubber bushings. So, go and get this thing back up high in the air. And pretty much like always, we're just gonna start at one corner. I'm gonna go ahead and mark all the brakes that need to be done. It appears it's gonna be all the pads. And I'm gonna go ahead and mark all these bushings. We can grab them as we go. Well, let's start here. Get this tire off. Alright, so obviously the brake pad is one of these. And it looks like this brake disc here is going to be one. And that looks like two of the rubber bushings are the ones back here. We can go ahead and grab those. And we'll just go ahead and get those apart. So let's see here. I need 4 of those, I know. Can't remember on the rubber bushings though. 4? Yeah, there was. So we'll go ahead and get the other, all the rubber bushings while we're at it. I definitely need one of those. I'll probably need to buy a couple, but we can get those mounted in here, and then we'll put the brakes all back together. repeat and click across. What we are going to do real quick is we're going to clear out our inventory a little bit here. Hold on to the rest of these parts from the looks of it. And anytime you're working on something, I may not have said this before, but for instance, we need to break this here, but this is obviously a bad one. You can actually, while you're just hovering like this over it, you can hit X and go ahead and add that to your shopping cart. And that way, you don't have to go to your inventory to get that. And then we just do that instead of trying to add that through the inventory. You can do that as you go if you like. Everybody's got their own ways of doing it, so more power to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our status here. Go ahead and clear the stuff that's done. And those two rubber bushings done. So now, those are all, the whole front end is done here. So all we need to do is some bushings here in the back, and some more brakes. So, looks like this will be pretty simple actually. We should have all the parts in our inventory now to just go ahead and get this all finished up. Replaced. Set ourselves back over here where we can see stuff. Clicked under the tire. In my opinion, is this job was a pretty simple job. Didn't take a whole lot to do. Just took a little bit of time. Double check that we got everything done here. And everything's done. So there's our breakdown of what we're getting paid to do this job. And our ending deal here is we get $2,200 for that repair. So we'll go ahead and finish this order out, and we'll go ahead and get all the red parts out. And might as well open this case while we're here, right? Let's see what we get. And we got a barn location map, nice. We'll go ahead and add that to our deal. Alright guys, well that pretty well sums up story order number 2. And we'll come back later when we have another story order, or we'll do some more basic jobs. So thanks for showing up, and we'll see you later.